Welcome, and thank you for joining us to today's segment and for tuning in to Optimize, Connect, Automate 3.0. I'm Keith Ingalls. I'm the Raymond Lean Management Manager for Solutions and Support Centers at Raymond. This is the third of our installments for Optimize, Connect, Automate. In the first two installments, we talked about successful automation technologies and professional services and change management, how bringing those elements into your organization can help move you forward. In today's segment with the challenges, we're going to talk about literally the Optimize, Connect, Automate sequence and why that's important to us and why we take it in that very specific sequence. So we've had a lot going on in the past year, 2020, and starting really in March going forward, a lot of change has happened. So with that, we've put a lot of stress on e-commerce, and we're going to talk a little bit about that. We've also had customer desires and lead times really reduced, and this has created a lot of stress in our environment. But we want to help you rise to that stress and take advantage. Really, that's the new opportunities for us. And those opportunities we want to capture effectively and give a really great customer experience to help us move forward. So we've seen these changes, and we want to help you move through them effectively. Helping me do that today is Jared Hubbard. Welcome, Jared.
Good afternoon. I'm Jared Hubbard. I'm the Director of Corporate Sales Support for the Raymond Corporation. I'm the liaison between the Raymond Corporation and the Solution and Support Centers. This seminar will cover automated intralogistics solutions that work together to optimize operational efficiency, productivity, and the new norm, including solutions from telematics to semi-automated high-density storage solutions. The new normal. Let's talk about that. Let's take a look pre-COVID. Already, e-commerce was outpacing regular retail sales growth by 4 times. And with that segment growing so heavily, that has caused distributors to increase their SKU count, as you can see. So with that volume that's going through, labor productivity has been increased, as well as it's caused labor shortages throughout the marketplace. In conjunction with that, the average cost of technology has gone down over the years. So what's going on? What's the new norm in time of COVID? As you can see, the time period between February and June of 2020, we saw the same amount of growth, 4.4% in that 4 months as we did over the last 7.5 years. So with that growth and that velocity, it's pushing businesses to look to new technologies in order to meet that market demand. But we recommend before you go to those new technologies that you optimize.
So with Optimize, we want to begin by looking at where we're at and how we move forward. So before we start with what are we thinking? Traditional thinking, and as a manager, I certainly approach things this way. It's really about throwing resources at the problem. These may be resources we don't have. It might be buy more trucks or get more space or have more people to throw at a problem. We might not yet have fully identified or defined the problem. With lean thinking, we want to look at that process. We want to look at establishing good 5S condition, good organization in the workplace. We want to look at our routes, our movement, our flow in the warehouse, how we can save time and save effort and energy. We want to look at really good standard consistent processes, things that help us get a baseline for consistency. And we want to use the resources we have very, very effectively. Now, there's really 2 key area resources we're going to talk today. There's the robots and automation side, and there's the people side. On the robots and automation side, the machine side, the machinery executes standard work, right? And it does exactly what it's told and how it's told, right? But there's no ability to bring creative solutions or Kaizen to the process. People, on the other hand, sometimes we as people can be a handful, right? We may not follow the standards, or we may question the instructions, or we might even be willful in the workplace, but we bring unlimited ability to create Kaizen or bring creative solutions to these opportunities we have in today's environment. So we want to use those 2 different resources in different ways, and we want to integrate them very well. So we first want to understand, as we optimize, we understand our current condition, our current state. Where are we right now? What are the metrics of where we are today? What are our customer demands for cost? What are their demands for response time? How are we using the space and resources, our people, effectively? What's our use today? And how do we measure that? So we want to know that measurement point today, so we know how to move forward towards an ideal vision state. So our ideal vision state, we want to guide that with metrics and measures, so we know when we're moving towards that ideal state. That's kind of our compass in our direction we're going to go forward. So we want to look for ways to increase our productivity. We want to find ways to engage the workforce, right? Because our associates have those ideas for improvements, and we want to draw that out, because that's really going to build their confidence and their morale and their effectiveness in the workplace. And all this we want to do to reduce our operational costs to serve our customer better. So really 4 areas we're going to talk about in a sequence to move forward. First, we're going to gather and analyze data. We're going to get a lot of information in. We're going to take a look at that, and that's going to guide us in the direction of where we're going to start to make our changes and movements. As we move forward in the process, we want to engage our associates with visual improvements, and we want to engage them with visual identifiers to let us know how are we responding to our customer demands and our customer needs. So this is going to engage our people and give them the confidence that they know they're delivering the best work they can, and that visual feedback is very necessary. Kind of think of it like a scoreboard in the workplace. Those visual managements help give us that feedback we need. Do we have the tool supplies in place? Do we have the training experience in place that we need? This is going to give our people confidence that they're serving our customers well and keeping the organization effective. So our mantra here is better thinking, better process. The result then is better business. There's 5 areas we want to talk about. First is standards. Standards is a baseline consistency. Consistency is how we build quality, right? So we get that consistency first, and we're going to build on that. The way we build on that is through step-by-step process improvement. Customers' demands tend to move and get more and more, right? As customers, we want more, so we have to learn to serve our customers more effectively through those process improvements forward. We want to gain flow in our workspace, right? As we bring resources in, add value and get it out to our customer, we're going to create good flow in that. So that's the storage solutions are going to help us do that. And we're going to move that effectively in that flow with good conveyance. We want to keep everything moving through the system, bring it in, add the value to it, and get it out to the customer as effectively as possible. And where there are opportunities for that repetitive task that's going to recur, and it's going to take that solution that needs to do it right over and over, there's great opportunities to bring in automation. So we look at the organization as a whole. The base area is really the setting the workplace effectively. Do we have the supplies, the tools, the resources, the training, and the experience in place for all of our associates? That's the foundational elements of our work. Then we want to look at our customer experience, and our customers want what we as customers want, right? They want on-time, defect-free, be it that service or that's a product. They want it on-time, defect-free. As we set this workplace very effectively, then focus on delivering on-time and defect-free, we're moving towards operational excellence. As we move towards operational excellence, we're getting the best customer experience possible. Finally, the 7 wastes. We define wastes as anything that does not serve the customer experience. So if it does not serve the customer experience, then we would consider that a waste. So we are able to remember that in 7 different key areas. An acronym is Tim Wood. So transportation, inventory that doesn't add to the customer experience, that would be a type of waste. Motion, waiting. If machinery is waiting, if associates are waiting, then that is a type of waste. If we're providing processing or production that doesn't serve our customer experience, also not a good use of our resources. And finally, defects. Defects are anything that falls short of the customer expectation. And defects almost always require rework. And this is, again, not a good use of our resources. So after we optimize our workplace, look at our processes and flow, now we can begin to connect.
Once you've optimized your processes, now you can connect your operations with your technology. So as you're moving through and understanding how your business is running and how quickly it's running, and velocity and all that, there are solutions out there that'll help you look into your operations to set metrics and KPIs to truly understand how your operation functions. Telematics is one of those solutions. It's a data storage solution that helps you manage your operations, set KPIs, and lower your overall costs. It has capabilities such as access control. What that is it only allows operators that are trained to operate vehicles, utilize those vehicles in your operation. It has pre-shift checklists, so the operator can go and make sure that the vehicle is ready to be operated. It does impact management. It'll alert you to the possible impacts to facilities or product, and allow you to go in and have coaching opportunities with your associates to better serve the operation. It also gives you the ability to look at vehicle utilization and productivity. Sometimes you can drive out the amount of vehicles of redundancy out of your operation by understanding your utilization and increasing your overall productivity so you can get the maximum amount of throughput through your facility.
Those are great points, Jared. Yes, telematics, and a lot of times at first, associates may be a little intimidated by this new type of solution because it has a lot of potential going on, a lot of information. But as they get used to it, it really helps build their confidence that they know they're on the machinery's checked out. And to your point, it helps them identify best practice. So it really is one of those ways to give them really good feedback to help them in their performance.
Yeah, once they really understand, they're confident with the information, they utilize that and help newer associates get better. So yes, those best practices really come into play using this solution. Labor management system. So labor is the most critical piece of your operation. It actually represents about 72% of your overall costs. So it's very important to make sure that you take care of the labor that you have, and that's really important in this time in age where labor is so short. So the labor management system is a system that links in with your warehouse management system as well as your time clock, so you can have the most productive and efficient labor force out there that is possible. It allows you to identify best practices so you can distribute that among your associates. And I've seen some places where they've utilized labor management in order to incentivize best practices and allow the associates to make more money when they're more productive and efficient.
Jared, you bring up some great points. So if you have some opportunities in your area where your associates are trying to do the right thing, when I've been a manager and a coach, associates want to contribute to the organization, but sometimes we don't give them the information or the feedback to help them understand when they're performing at their best and when they might not be performing effectively. See, that information piece is missing. So until we provide that for them, we're not really helping them guide them in the best practice direction. And that's what we want to get out of our people. They're trying to contribute, but they need that feedback. And to your point, Jared, it's a great way to put some incentivization in place. I don't know anybody that turns down a little extra money these days. So.
You're right. When operators know, they can impact change. So I agree with you totally.
So virtual reality simulator, as a trainer, traditionally I would take people out on the equipment and put them in the areas very near to the high volume workplace, and they would be in racking and near product. And so it can be a very chaotic and loud atmosphere when the new associates trying to be trained on equipment. They're trying to get used to equipment they're not familiar with. The virtual reality simulator takes them out of that and puts them on the equipment, allows them to get used to the feel of the machine, give them the feel of operation when they're not in that chaotic environment. So it's a lot better experience for the associate, builds their morale, builds their confidence, integrating with their new technology and their equipment effectively without that stress.
This also allows for continuous training. So putaways, letdowns, going from narrow aisle to very narrow aisle. This will take an operator through their full life cycle. So now that we've connected, now let's automate. So with the fulfillment and the needs for e-commerce and the velocity that's running through the facilities nowadays, getting to the pick location and getting to the next for the full picks is very important. So zoning and position is a solution that allows the truck to be automatically taken to the pick location. It vectors into the right area. It takes you quickly to the pick location so the associate can focus on pick accuracy and making sure the customer's order is appropriate. Then it'll take them to the next pick location, again, in the most efficient and productive way.
So yes, Jared, as you've said, if you've optimized, now you've connected all that information coming at you. If you're ready for that stage of automation, zoning and positioning can be a great solution, right? If you have associates, for example, that have a lot going on, they have a lot of different picks, a lot they're trying to concentrate on, zoning and positioning helps automate that area and take them to the right area without having so many things trying to juggle in front of them, right? We all become less effective when we have too many items going on. Zoning and positioning can help us give focus to that correct pick and that customer experience.
In-aisle detection system is another solution that you can utilize in order to make sure that operator doesn't have to focus primarily on moving the vehicle, but they can focus on the picking and the accuracy. So an in-aisle detection system automatically detects vehicles, product, or maybe debris that's in their way and helps them with an audible sound and decelerates the truck and actually will bring it to a stop so the operator can feel that they're in a low risk environment.
Yeah, and the right solution, Jared, to your point, this can be really helpful. In-aisle detection is like an even more robust form of, the parking sensors we have on cars. And we forget that we have a lot of expectations of our operators. They're watching all directions. They're often watching for pedestrian traffic and certainly other warehouse traffic. They've got a lot going on, and the debris that can come out of almost nowhere in front of their operation, their equipment. It really gives them that confidence to interact more effectively in their environment and help keep their focus again on the pick. That's what the customer's expecting. So not having to keep their eyes on all those things in the driving areas. So it's a really helpful solution.
There's a lot of movement inside the facilities nowadays. There's movement with vehicles, there's movement with associates, there's movement with product. So another solution that'll help you is real-time location system. What that does is it tracks movement in all those different aspects of your facility to keep it the most efficient and productive way of flow through your facility.
Yeah, that's a great point, Jared. The RTLS system, we used to do this by hand manually and try to track this, line by line. And we try to find ways in the routes, where a lot of lines were maybe crossing each other or areas we could create efficiency. It was quite difficult. But with the RTLS system, it's going to give you that information accurately, and it's going to give it to you in such a way you can start to see good routes. You can start to see opportunity areas. It's really hard to do that manually. So this is an automation piece that can really help you find best practices and build a less invasive environment where those routes are more effective.
This is really important as square footages grow year over year. Pick the Pallet LED light system. This is a system to help the pick accuracy within your facility in order fulfillment. So this gives you a visual to, while you're batch picking, to give you the more accurate area to pick and place your product so you can have a better customer experience.
Yes, Jared, this is a great piece. We talk about in continuous improvement all the time, the ability to introduce visuals or audible signals in a system of thinking that we would call error proofing. How do we help error proof the process for the associate? And so this with the lighting and the audible signals, it's really going to be helpful for the associate, and they're really going to be able to reduce errors in their picking and give, again, that better customer experience. And it's going to give them that confidence interacting with their machinery.
So space is always an issue, Keith. Making sure that you have amount of space to place all those SKUs due to the increased business from e-commerce. So a solution that can help you compact space would be the semi-automated pallet shuttle system. So this is to work in conjunction with the operators with a forklift in the operation. So it maximizes the amount of space that's utilized by compressing the storage and making it more dense. And then the operator can work a more dense area with the use of these units and be more efficient in picking. And you can then redeploy that other labor over into areas of more technical use.
Absolutely, Jared. This system is really great. If you have some tight space areas or you want to reduce some aisle space and turn that into storage, this dense storage system can help you do that. And as operators get used to it, the operators I work with really, after they used to really enjoy it, because it gives them that feel that they're doing multiple things at once. And again, people want to contribute. They want to add value to the organization. And this really lets them feel that they can do that. And because it's doing that repetitive piece while they can concentrate on other work. So not only gaining space, but you're gaining effectiveness.
So we've seen efficiency increases on this with one operator working the same area that maybe multiple operators worked in, utilizing this technology and getting out the same amount of velocity. So as we talked about square footage growing in a lot of operations out there, so what we'd like to offer is a solution that will drive out repetitive tasks, long horizontal tasks that normally an operator would drive across the facility and possibly deadhead with an empty load all the way back across, thousands of feet. So the automated guided vehicle is one of those solutions that'll help you kind of take away those mundane tasks for the operators, put them in a more technical area, redeploy them, and let the mundane long haul tasks, horizontal tasks, go to an automated guided vehicle.
Jared, you make a great point, and this really ties into what I was talking about earlier. Where do we use the machine resources versus the people resources? Because they are different, and they have different strengths, and they have different contributions to the organization. When you have those repetitive routes or those repetitive tasks going back and forth, and that's not fun for operators, frankly. And an AGV can do that and let the operator, the associate, do something a little more creative, a little more engaging, like the concentrating on the orders or the invoicing for the customer, while the AGV can do that repetitive solution effectively. So in the right atmosphere, it's a great tie-in.
So what's next for you in technology?
So we know we've covered a lot of information today, and there's a lot of solutions out there. We would like you to take away just from the title, remember to optimize first, look at your process, your flow, connect, bring in technology information, and then automate, start to bring in those solutions to the workplace. So we have a lot going on. We really want to thank you for joining us today. We appreciate your time. And we'd like to engage you with some answers to questions in the chat feature of this forum.